Hey everybody, it's me Gazbot, and today's day 43 of 100 days of making comics. That's right, 100 days of making comics when I put time aside to be Belorbadark. Blots. Anyway, I did a little over 2 hours today. I worked on thumbnails primarily. I did about an hour and a half on thumbnails and did 6, which is about what I did yesterday. So it seems like 6 thumbnails in an hour and a half. What does that break down to? Here's math. 15 minutes a thumbnail? That sounds about right, yeah. So using that math, I can figure out how long it would take me to thumbnail anything. Well, I have 4 pages left that I have not thumbnailed. So tomorrow, if I put an hour into thumbnails, I'll be done thumbnailing. But I did 6 today. Again, not the most interesting thing to look at, but I'll go ahead and put it up. There's gonna be 2 pages. The top of one of the pages, the one on the left, is the thumbnails from yesterday. If you remember yesterday, there was blank underneath. I filled those 2 in, and then the next 4. So anyway, here they are. And then I was going to work on another design like I had talked about. Specifically, there's a bar, Dan's Bar, and I kind of known what I wanted to do. I'm going to let you know right now, there's not a process video, and I also don't have a design to show you, because I ended up spending about a half hour, 45 minutes just doing research, pulling imagery. In my mind, I had kind of thought it was similar to like the bar in Akira, if you've ever seen that movie, or I guess read the anime, although I'm more familiar with the movie. But basically like a dive bar that's downstairs, like something you find in New York. And I kind of had that in mind, and I pulled some reference from the movie Akira, and I'm like, oh, that's actually not really what I thought it looked like. I kind of had a memory that was false. Then I thought about maybe looking at Blade Runner, and I decided not to. So I decided not to pull fictional reference, especially since my first one that I thought would be the one I might look at ended up not being what I wanted. But I think that's good, because it's better to not be looking too heavily at other artists. So then I just spent time looking up dive bar, and I also realized one of the things I think I had in mind subconsciously was CBGB's, the old, I guess, punk outlet in New York. I mean, it was a bar, but it was more known for having music. And I'd been there a few times before it closed down, lucky me. And one of the things I remember was like stickers on everything and graffiti on everything and layers of garbage on everything. And I think that's kind of what I was thinking of. So I grabbed a bunch of reference from that. I grabbed some from Coney Island High, which is another old punk bar, you know, type place that closed down in New York, and a bunch of other dive bars from Brooklyn and things like that. And I got a lot of good interior stuff, but I realized that I wanted a different sort of exterior, like where it looked more run down and bombed out. So I just started looking up abandoned bars and abandoned cities and like that kind of stuff. And it was weird because I found a lot of good reference, but it would be like, oh man, that's great, that building's falling down. Look, there's nothing there. And like, I'd get excited when I found something that was kind of like what I was looking for, but then I'd kind of like feel bad about it because I'm like, oh, this is like a neighborhood that fell apart, and like, I hope people don't still live there, and this is terrible, and urban decay, and the less fortunate. Oh, that one's really good, you know. So it's a weird cycle continuing of being happy for finding reference and then feeling shame and guilt about it. So that was kind of the reference I pulled, and like I said, there's nothing, I can show you pictures of reference, but I'm not going to because that's boring. So I did, you know, a little over 2 hours today. That's what I did. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll finish up the thumbnails. The rest of what I did today, like my work for today, I responded to a bunch of emails back and forth. I have a couple jobs coming up that I've been like dotting the I's and crossing the LMNOPs on, and so I spent a little time doing that. But for the most part, I'm going on a trip. Q and I are going on a trip to Japan in March, so it's coming up pretty quick. It's one of those things where we bought the tickets a while ago, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's almost here. And even though it's still far out, we haven't like booked a lot of things, and so I was trying to like look up different activities and hotel, and like I had a list of things I wanted to do. She had a list of things she wanted to do, and the idea was to compile that list and like pull up addresses and where to buy tickets and all like the stuff I need to do to make this thing happen. And I spent like 5 or 6 hours just taking her list and my list, merging them together, and like going to each website and finding what I could in English about it, and I'm still not done. It's very daunting. I should probably get a travel agent, but I didn't. The thing is, even if I want a travel agent and I'm willing to pay that, I need to get this list of things we want to do that we can do, because there's a lot of stuff that's like, oh, look, there's an Attack on Titan art exhibit. Well, that's over in a month and we won't be there. And then like, oh, here's this other awesome Ultraman show. Well, that starts the week after we leave. Oh, here's this great, you know, convention. Well, you can't buy tickets from America, you know, so it's a lot of weirdness like that. But then there's also like, you know, oh, we should check out a temple. And it's like, well, there's like a million temples. Which are the good ones? Let me do some research. And Anyway, it has nothing to do with comics, but I'm excited about it, and that's what I've been doing all day. And if anybody watching wants to suggest a good hotel or a good activity or something off the beaten path that we should do, we're going to be staying mainly in Tokyo, but we're going to travel to around, Osaka and I think Osaka, Kyoto, anywhere we could go in like a day trip, we'll go if it's worth going to. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to end this video. Unfortunately, not a lot of visuals. I apologize for that. Tomorrow will probably be more of the same, unless I do get to the bar, but I don't know. The weird thing is, like, I put my 2 hours in, but I had to kind of force myself to do it today. And I realized that wearing these glasses all day is messing me up. Like, I'm not used to it. I usually wear them in the morning and at night, like, when I'm going to bed. And the only time I wear them all day is if I'm, like, sick or something. So I think psychologically, I'm, like, wearing glasses all day, so it keeps me in, like, bed mode. It keeps me in, like, I just woke up, or I'm getting ready for bed, or I don't feel good. So it's, like, I've had a hard time going, energetically, because I'm like, well, I should put my contacts on, because it's like, that's how I start my day. I put on my contacts and do all the other, put on my shoes, but like, walking around with glasses all day, it's like, whatever. So, but the downside is I'm thinking like, oh, well, once I get my laser surgery, then I'll be back on track. But then I actually will be, quote unquote, sick. I'll be like, oh, my eyes. But anyway, like I said, I am trying to end this video. As much as I just talked about not having energy, something about talking to the camera energizes me. Talking is like, I guess that's the other thing. I sat around all day not talking to anybody, and Q came home and she took a nap, so we didn't even really talk that much. So anyway, day 43, and that, oh, no, yeah, that means there's 57 days left!